Well, yeah, but that means they're gonna text me.
My 6-year-old could text me from my iPad. I'll say, "Don't text me or FaceTime me." 2 seconds later,
Uh,
I get something.
we have a family group chat, and so let me know there. So, all right, we're live. It is 5:31 on Tuesday, September 23rd. This is the Board of Directors meeting of the Albany County Land Bank Corporation. Ready to begin.
And thank you, everyone, for being here. We do have a quorum, and so one more with feeling, right? We tried this last week.
That's right. Yes.
That's right. So thank you for everyone coming. We're going to try to get here, get it in and out as fast as everybody can. And do we have any public comment?
Public comment. Yes, the public, how are you?
Okay.
How are you?
Can you state your name and?
Yes, my name is Kadir Islam. I'm at 439 South Pearl, and I'm here representing Universal Concepts as well as talking about Jihad. But for this evening is personal property that we applied for, and we're looking forward to getting your endorsement. And if you allow for me to get the endorsement before I even speak, I'm out the door.
So your property, staff is still reviewing it, and I think Shelby has sent you some emails just with some additional information we need.
That's for 352 and 352 and 325.
If those, I don't know exactly, but I know she said she's working through that. So
352 and 325 is in the center of the interior of the hood, where according to the previous district attorney, the most crimes are taken, most crimes are done. Our objective with Universal Concepts is help to make the capital district in and of itself better than what it is. We believe the capital district is better than what it is because even if we hear shootings that take place, or whatever it may be, I'm quite sure you all do know our last birthday, not this one that just passed, July 4th, but the one previous year, 109 shootings in Chicago. 10 people died, the other 99 were wounded. So if you hear shooting or two here in Albany, we're doing very good because we're spreading the positive message of what we're doing here. We're not as bad as the rest of the country they want us to think we are. We just spoke with the new DA, and he assured us that crime is down and that we're in the process of making significant changes, as well as meeting with the new chief. He's not new, but he's been there before, before the previous chief, Hawkins. And so we have relationships with all this going on, and we're very excited that if you haven't heard yet, that Community Loan Fund has a new director.
Okay, I didn't hear, where is this property located?
35, what we're requesting?
Pardon me?
What are we requesting?
Yes.
352 and 325. That's First Street, right?
On First Street?
Yes, ma'am.
So that would be above Swan and Lark?
In between Lexington,
Okay, so it's below Lexington.
and there's a community center there where seniors go on a regular basis.
So what's the status of your application?
Status application is what you're asking, we're asking to get it lowered, and so that the contract that we have that already renovated 439 South Pearl is working with Universal Concepts to develop these two properties. So we can be in there and have significant people in those particular properties. If you don't know, you should know. Whenever we go,
I know.
Where are we?
whenever we go into a property,
Mhm.
the drug
Receive the
dealers,
application.
Yeah, so why don't we just get that out of the way? We've received the application.
Yes.
And where is it in the process?
Shelby's reviewing it, and she's reached out with questions that she has before we present it to the board.
Okay.
whenever we go into a property, anywhere in Albany or the country, those that know that they shouldn't be doing what they're doing, they leave without confrontation. We're not a threat to them. We're not giving them ultimatums and things of this nature, but they know we're here trying to do the work in the community to help our new generation and the generation that's coming not to be involved in what's going on and what's happening. Probation, we just completed a program with probation. 10 youth via the POP program from Albany County Land Trust. And one of the major things we did that mesmerized the 10 youth that we had, we took them to the county jail. Not a Scare Straight program, but it was Scare Straight. Not like the scare strip you've seen before, where the correction officers are in their face and the prisoners are in their face of these individuals telling you shouldn't be here, don't come here, this, that, and the other. Not that.
Mhm.
All we had to do was take them to visit the visiting room. We took them to visit 2 tiers. One tier is air conditioned, the other tier is not air conditioned. And one of the 2 of the 10 individuals that we had, short person, kind of cute. When the tier we took him to, one of the inmates winked at him. You know what that means?
Okay, so the land bank, you're in a land bank meeting here where we're trying to dispose
Okay,
of property.
Sure.
So you have
I'm
an
just trying to give you a
application.
taste of what we do.
We've done property with you before in the past, right?
What happened? Oh, yes,
Yeah, okay, so we know Universal Concepts.
yes.
You gave us a brief overview of what Universal Concepts does. You're in the process for these 2 parcels, right, or the vacant land?
This is the first that we ever had come to the board. So that's how I know.
Well,
In
it's
the
being
past,
evaluated in staff,
Okay,
so it hasn't come to the board yet, so you're
Yeah.
premature to talk to us about it.
okay,
And besides, we wouldn't do that anyway, we have to evaluate everything in committee.
sure.
So I'm glad you came and told us that the thing has been processed. You've told us who you are,
Yes,
and so that's good enough. And so that's it,
I'm good.
okay?
I thank you very much. We appreciate hearing me, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Thank you for your time, all right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, that's it for public comments. No other comments received.
Okay, do I have a review and approval of minutes? Motion?
Motion.
Second? I'll second it. All those, any changes, additions, corrections, et cetera? Hearing none. All those in favor of accepting the minutes signify by saying aye. Opposed, abstained. Okay. Now we have the executive director's report, which is tab 4.
All right, tab 4. So I'll just hit the highlights here. I wanted to just share with you. So we had our National Land Bank Network conference a couple of weeks ago, and Andrew Carl was the keynote speaker. Andrew Carl is the author of The Black Tax, which is a very insightful book. I think we're all familiar with how policies have impacted Black communities, and even if you're familiar with how public policy has impacted Black communities, read this book. It will be something that will fire you up once again. So I had been reading that. I just wanted to share some of my thoughts on that, and how reading that reinforces to me that we're doing the right things, and that we're fixing systemic problems that have been with us for quite some time. And in fact, not directly, but I think helps me reinforce a recommendation we have for a situation that we encountered with a property. So it's a long read. It's like 400 pages, but if you want to figure that out, if you even like a chapter of something out of that, I'd be happy to just share it with you.
Okay.
This month we interviewed for our development specialist position. We previously called that development manager when we initially posted that. And so we had some applications through our HR
You want
platform.
my admin here? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yep.
Okay,
What is-
Admin, did everybody see where they?
What about the resolution, Sean, that it says you're asking?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just to give you the high notes, and that'll
Okay.
be down there. But just on an administration note, we had interviewed for the development specialist position. When I wrote this, I said, I believe we have a candidate to offer the position to. The update on that is that we did offer, the person has accepted. Don't know if they've given their notice yet, but I'd be happy to email you and communicate with you all offline to let you know who that is. But I think that the team is confident in who we'll bring on board to help us out with that. October 6th is their expected start date right now. August financial statements. This was a month later than I expected it to be. We returned the quarter into a net operating profit. So we were out of the red and not net operating deficit into a net operating surplus. And I think that's a really good spot for us to be in. Beyond that, I mean, we're still tracking really well with budget. Nothing alarming, nothing concerning. I think kept the unexpected elements of land banking to a minimum. And so I'm pleased with that process. Real estate operations, different look. We're just updating how we track some of our key performance indicators. The four that we talk about, properties acquired, properties sold, properties received through donation, and properties demolished. The activity has been in property sold and demolitions. August, we had one property sold and we haven't had any demolitions. In fact, I just stepped, the team and I just have gone through 7 demolitions that we have identified needing. And so we had a good call with the city's planning department today with Avi. And we're going to start putting those through the planning process. That's the first part of the step. The reason we're doing that, even if we don't get these all down, those approvals are good for a year and we can ask for another year extension. So we have everything ready to go. Because that's what we're just not ready to go as much as I'd like to be some days, but we're definitely turning the corner there. On the development projects, South End project, yes.
Is the visual that's up there, is that related to what you're talking about?
I'll
here?
get to that. I'll give you the
So
update.
I'm trying to follow it here because you had the chart, chart here.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
giving the executive director, the executive summary of the executive
Okay.
director's report. So I'm not really going,
So this is
Word for word.
not by that?
no,
Okay.
I'll point that out when I get to the end here.
Great, okay,
Development activities, the South End project, that's going to close this year. We had our coordination call with the team. Really a big thank you to the city of Albany. They did the resolution to transfer the properties to the land bank. And after just squaring some things up, they're going to transfer those for a nominal value, which means $1, in recognition of the amount of investment that this project is going to inject into South End, especially into public infrastructure. And so I think that was a really strong win. And on top of that, they did get their approval from the City of Albany Industrial Development Agency for the pilot. And so that's moving ahead. We're in really good shape there.
Any indication of when a shovel goes in the ground?
Soon. I don't have a date.
But roughly.
Roughly. I think they have to still get through the building department, on permit reviews. I don't think that's been over there, but I'm looking at Sam, but I don't
Don't
think
think
he would
so.
necessarily know either. It's been all the planning reviews at this
I
point.
don't think it's gotten to the building permit.
Oh, so we're not
application
ready
part
to
yet.
start that.
No, but probably
Demolition,
2026.
demolition
more
and
months.
grading.
Yeah.
A couple months, okay.
Yeah. That's why the closing at the end of the year
Mhm.
will give us time to get there. But shovel will be in the ground in 2026.
Mhm.
When we get, structure up, I think, that'll play out in the permitting process, but
So they're
hopefully,
doing the home ownership first.
no, they're working with Habitat on the home ownership
Oh, yes,
piece.
that's right. Are they gonna start at the same time as
I
the?
gotta check with Habitat when their plan is. So Habitat, when I talked to them about this potential partnership,
Yeah.
they were gonna have to just take a look at their schedule and shift things around. From my conversations with Christine in the past, is that concentration of properties was potentially a better opportunity than other ones that they had in the pipeline.
Mhm.
So
So maybe by next month, they can tell you when they want to start?
yeah, I can check with, I'll
Great.
check with them. Henry Johnson Boulevard, Clinton Avenue cluster, we're still in a holding pattern. I know that a second potential partner or developer interest in the project has started did some due diligence on this, but I owe a follow-up to find out from them where they are. So that's still there. Not worried about it, but I think that they've got to work out the deal.
Okay.
Ontario Street and West Streets, we submitted, the development team submitted the 9% low-income housing tax credit application. That was due on September 11th. We continue to provide support all through that, including, towards the end, I think a couple of days before, they're looking for some information on neighborhood retail. And so I was able to go and pull a neighborhood retail analysis for inclusion. So we did a 5, 10-minute and 15-minute walk from the property to paint the picture as to what the retail landscape looked like, and that to demonstrate there is demand for some additional space on that first floor. So to give that application a little bit more objective information and not just a narrative to go along with it. So wait to hear, we'll hear in 2026 on how that was. I don't know if anybody else in the city had submitted anything, but I think they've got a strong application going in.
Isn't that the area they wanted to put a daycare?
Yep, they still plan on putting a daycare. I don't have my pointer here, but
5 or 6 years ago.
yeah, these projects have been brewing for a little bit, but I got our foot in the gas and they're moving ahead. So flip the block and youth build, flip the block. I do have to I've got comments from HCR that I'm still going through and I've got to get back to them. I'm waiting to hear back from the community loan fund on the line of credit, but they asked for a copy of the application that we sent to HCR to look at. And so they do have that. So everybody's sorting at their due diligence on the financing piece so that we can get that ahead. I did update city planning today on the lots, so they could take a look and give us an idea as to how they're going, how they would suggest that we submit these for review through their process, so that we can get that moved along.
And you talk to Fred when you do that kind of thing?
I can talk to, no, not when I talk to city planning every couple of weeks, but that's independent of Fred.
Yeah,
We
'cause
talk about a lot
Fred
of things.
knows all those people down there too. Right.
Yeah.
And for the board, just tell us the difference between the orange and the blue.
Orange are the two families, the blue, the solid orange are the two families, the solid blues are the single families.
Okay, and I can't see the fine print. What's the total size of the project in terms of units and houses? buildings?
17 lots in there. You got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 10 single families, 7, or I'm sorry, 10 two families, 7 single
Okay,
families.
so I tell everybody we're building 17 new houses on 2 blocks.
We'll have 7, yes.
17 new houses, of which 10 are 2 families.
We're building 16 new.
Oh, yeah,
because
that's
we
right.
rehabbed
Excuse me.
one.
We have one already.
We already have
We
one.
already had one.
One is done.
Yeah,
She's
So-
getting,
yeah,
she's
so-
inspecting that Friday.
good.
Mhm.
It's what happened, closing?
The inspection is Friday.
Yeah, what about it's under contract?
It's under contract, right?
So this is exciting though, because we're gonna do 17, we rehabbed one, we're gonna close on it, folks, let the neighborhood know, right? And we got 16 to go, but 10 of them are 2 families, which is also 10 more units of rental housing. So it's really 27 units of housing that we're putting on this block. And I want everybody to know that, right, within 2 blocks, because it's really gonna make a difference. And the reason why I say that, I just met Kizzy Williams. She came into my office again today. Kizzy, has her place up on the corner of Ontario and First Street. And she was telling me about her mac and cheese and how she hit it big with Price Chopper, right? And she's about to get her product into 100 stores.
Wow.
And so this is a real big thing for her. She said the vendor that was making the mac and cheese was messing her over, and Price Chopper helped her get a new vendor, and she's totally happy. Okay, and I said, so what are you gonna do with all the money you make? She said, the first thing I'm gonna do is beautify my block up on First Street. She's gonna put all these flags up there. She's talking about painting people's houses, the way
Wow.
she thinks big. But this is exactly what we're talking about, right? This is the glass half full or half empty?
Mhm.
These are half full projects. I mean,
Right.
this is what we're doing. She said the biggest thing is the intravenous drug users. Those are the ones that she says it's new on the block, and we got to figure out what to do with them because they're kind of scary. And so, these are all the issues that come about. But it was just so exciting to hear, Black businesswoman, originally Business for Good, helped her get going, and to have Price Chopper do this, and to have it reach that point, and to still have a social conscience about, I'm not taking all the money and going to Bermuda or something. She was at my office to give me a free dinner. I'm feeling sorry for you. I'm bringing you my dinner this week.
Maybe we got to order the mac and cheese
Yeah,
one meeting, get that in here.
that's right. That's right. I interrupted you.
No,
360.
that's all right. 360 Sheridan Youth Build. They've got most of, as of the end of last month, they had most of the rough and electrical work done. Plumbing was waiting for a new permit to finish the rough and plumbing. After that, they were doing the insulation and drywall, and they were waiting for a siding delivery from Bellevue Builders. I haven't gotten a chance to get over there with everything else, with all the other stuff going on, but try to get over there this week just to take a peek in.
And what I found in my experience of building these houses is you don't market it. You could market it now, but the best way to market it is wait till it's all sheetrocked and say, you can see where these rooms are and everything, and if you get approved early, you can pick your colors, pick your carpeting, pick your walls. And so there's an incentive. You don't have to wait till you get the CO and you've picked the colors and picked the floor. It's way better to pre-sell the house, but you can't pre-sell it too early because they can't visualize it. And also, they say, when is my house gonna get done? And you don't wanna get them upset to say it's several more months, and especially since it's youth build and it's been taking 2 years, you know? But anyway,
And then the last piece, that I'll go back to that first
Yeah.
graphic, just the rundown, 237 properties in inventory. The sale pending on 11 of those that the board has approved. We are still working our way through the evaluation and process group, but that's some of this demolition list that I went over today. 4 buildings for sale, 59 lots for sale, 10 properties in process to the board, and then a list of other not availables. The not available other is actually going to move up in the next report to sale pending, because those are the ones that we approved to Habitat. I talked to Christine today, asked just where they are, and they're still in environmental review with Homes and Community Renewal, which is the funding paying for those properties. So we're still in the holding pattern on that.
have we been able to work through all our properties like you said you were gonna do to sort of make a file, an updated file and everything?
That's what we're going through.
How far, how much more do you have to do?
Well, there's 24 here that we
Yeah.
went through because because we have the grant funding for demolition. So we're trying to triage these based on the
Yeah,
work that we have
yeah,
ahead of us. So these 24 we pulled out, and we got seven demolitions that we'll start the permitting on. So.
But I'm trying to figure out the certain inventory that hasn't been looked at carefully, and yeah, that's what you're trying to work your way through.
Yeah, that's the evaluation and process piece. That's
Yeah.
some of
And
that
so how many more do we have to
24
go on that?
is in here. I'll have to update the numbers because I just went through this today
Mhm.
to get that number down. But we're gonna move some of those other, we'll have to create a new category for a planned demolition or something. What we sometimes do is we leave them in that evaluation stage on situations like this, so.
Mhm.
But
Great.
we're gonna start working on 7 of these to get that number
So
down.
maybe about 237 properties. We'll have a handle on them all soon.
Yes,
Yeah.
that number gets lower and lower.
Yeah.
Sometimes we find something
Well, the people want to know, you own all this property, what are you doing with it, right? That tells you what we're doing right there.
Yeah.
You know, we're not sitting on it, we have plans for everything.
But we've made in the past year, we have made more property available all the time than we had in the past. If you remember in the past, we did these chunks. We put a group of properties on for 30 days and we take them off. They're on 30 days, take them off. We've gotten into, we only, the caveat is we have 4 buildings here, right? We have 59 lots. But I think that we have found a way to maximize efficiency with scheduling and involving more of the, all of the team to be able to post more properties at once and not go through this up and down process.
That's right. And also it's the credibility of the community. Oh, you say you're doing stuff, but what do you have to sell? So you say, well, here's what we got.
Yeah.
Great.
And we're getting good feedback. The team hears it. I hear it, and so I'm pleased with the way things are headed. So,
Great.
and then the last piece in your report, just a bunch of numbers about community engagement. Our office visits by zip code. We've been tracking that. That's in there for your record or for your information if you want to take a look at it. We do some digital engagement numbers to tell you about how the website's working. We had about 2,500 visitors, active visitors last month. That was up 9.7% from July. 2,300 new users. That was up 9.8% from July. Popular pages are our properties available, 2,400 views. Our process overview, our applications, first-time home buyer programs, and calendar. People stay about a minute on our website, but they also, if they're going to look at our properties, that's a different site. So we sometimes lose. It's not exactly accurate because we have to go between 2 different platforms. But on eProperty, you can see we get 976 active users coming into that system. 871 are new users. Facebook, I really want to give Shelby, a shout out here. You'll see our page followers, 1,900. We had 2 new follows, 6 unfollows. Total views, though, she had in last month, the content she's putting up there has gotten 11,000 views. That's up 267% from the month prior. So that's exactly what we aim to do is really make that reach. The great thing is when you get a number like that, then next month you're not going to see. I don't know. If she can hit another 267%.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Does she know if it's Probably not, right?
If she knows.
Albany County.
We don't always know that. Depends on where traffic is routed through.
From,
We tend to get like state level, country level, but we don't get so far down into exactly here. But you know, if we were doing some ads, you know, we can target geography a little bit better, but we haven't gotten into the ad space. We just haven't had a need to. So,
At least we're out there. That's really good.
yeah. But you can see like one of the things that was the most engaging and drives a lot of that 11,000 number was she did a post about what the red X means. And that had almost 9,000 people
Sure.
viewing that to understand more about what that means, which is, I think it's helpful. You know, we get a lot of that's the land bank logo, or that's your sign. It's like, no, that's not it. But we use it as a point to educate the, you know, people that it's, you know, it's informational, but you know, here's what it's really
What's
about.
the short answer on what you tell them?
We tell them it's part of the International Fire Code. It's a safety mechanism for first responders, and our goal is to get them off the buildings.
So I'm Joe Inquirer. Does this mean that the building is unstable and I shouldn't even look at it because it's got a red X?
No, it just means that first responders have to
Right.
be mindful of
There's
not
a
entering.
nuance there because you don't want to scare people away. That's what we felt, that the red X is scaring everybody away. And it's really just the safety of the firefighter.
Some people see it as an opportunity because they realize how bad the building is, and if they want to try to get in for value,
Yeah, yeah.
they may come in and grab that. I mean, we have Homestead. Homestead's got a red X on it, and we have somebody who's interested. You know, we'll talk a little bit more about what we've uncovered, during that process. But yeah, it's there.
the in-person engagement, is that tabling or it's not, right?
Office visits.
Office.
Yeah, we haven't. There have been events, but we haven't. Without a lot of inventory, we don't have much of a message, and so we're trying to think about how we engage the public if we're getting out there. And so we're updating. We're talking about some of the educational materials to help people understand the process. So I let the board know we had one deal that fell apart because the at closing, the amount it was going to cost, the buyer wasn't expecting that, and last month could have covered that cost, but with an unexpected expense, that threw things off. So we're always thinking about when we have those experiences, how do we better inform people about what to expect in the process.
So you had 11 applications, one every 3 days.
Yeah.
And does that mean a physical person that comes in, or do you do that online, or what?
They make it mailed in. I don't know if yeah, and that's going to be a
You
little
don't
misleading.
necessarily have to come in here.
You don't necessarily have to,
Yeah.
but you're most probably kind of.
Yeah, yeah. We would probably encourage it, so we don't have that much volume, so you sort of want to take the measure of the applicant in person, right?
We like the interaction.
Yeah.
We also, we have to get hard copy in at some point or we have to get something in hard copy because we need a check.
Yeah.
They don't process any credit card payments or anything. So that is my summary for you. There's a lot going on.
Okay.
So, Sean, last month, I think it was last month, Susan brought up 20 properties she was looking at that were pretty much out of compliance, but also outside of our enforcement timeframe, and there was likely more to come. Is there any update on, I guess, that initial batch?
We're meeting Thursday, I think, on the enforcement team's meeting Thursday.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, committee reports, tab 5, which is finance. Okay,
You got the summaries. This is what we've, one of the changes is rather than going through full committee reports, giving those summaries if you have any questions about those.
balance sheet highlights, right? So she got that there for anybody who wants to look at it,
Yep.
right?
Well, I can go through that. We have 3.4 million in cash accounts, really, strong position. Grants receivable, 294,000. We have property of 1.5 million. Bottom line, total net assets just under $5 million at 4.9 million. Just some, idea of year-to-date performance. Total revenue, we're a little bit below budget, but on the other side, expenses are also below budget. A lot of that has to do with the grant money. So like the demolitions, for example, we haven't spent the money on the demolitions, so we don't have the expense, nor do we have the grant revenue to offset it. Net operating revenue, $78,000. Total net revenue, line 113, if you're to look at the sheets, so we were at $155,000 net revenue, net positive revenue at that point. So try to turn that corner a little faster. I did talk to our accountant, I guess, with some of how we record some of the grant pieces. We had our call we talked to her, we tried to talk to her monthly. A lot of it's by email, but we did have a call. And how we code some things that we put in will help us show that operating profit earlier. Because that probably could have been last month like I had expected, but just how things get recorded held us back a month until we got her caught up on a bunch of grant disbursements, so she could go to different accounts.
Okay, any questions on finance?
I saw your budget planning. Does the accountant, do you guys do any projections?
We'll do a 5-year projection.
Okay.
And we talked about it in the finance committee this month about how we want to do that. Last year I gave you a projection that was ambitious, and we sort of changed it back to a little bit of a conservative, like a wind down version of the 5-year projection. So I think this year we're going to still do that 5-year wind down. I think internally just talk about where we think we can go aspirationally. So that way we can set goals for ourselves.
Hopefully our treasurers keep an eye on you guys.
My treasurer does a great job.
Treasurer asks questions when necessary.
Highly responsible.
Trust me.
You want to go to the acquisition?
On finance, otherwise, acquisition and disposition, which is tab 6.
So I'll give you the summary of that, and then the resolutions will be later under new business.
Okay.
So you have the dispositions here. This is that cluster of properties over off of Crump Hill Road in Woodville. So we had somebody. So remember last year we did that outreach to people to pick up lots adjacent to them. This is somebody who had poked around last year and came back this year to pick these up. And so we talked about that. We recommended an approval contingent on merging all those parcels to create a single lot. And during the acquisition disposition committee, we talked about once they get under contract with us, they can actually start that process to merge those properties with the city because they'll have a valid contract and we'll have an interest that allow them to move forward. So hopefully when we get to closing, we close it all and it's all done. We don't have to do any enforcement paperwork. On 157 Homestead Avenue, and there'll be we were amending that 157 Homestead Avenue. We were amending that on the sales price. The sales price, yeah.
Down to 25.
Yeah, so you'll see here when she offered on that property, she offered at our full price, but when she took an initial walkthrough, but when she got back through again and got more detail, and she walked through with the inspector for the bank, we saw a different set of numbers, and I think that the bank was a little more conservative, and we really want to get this property done. I don't have an objection to reduce purchase price. It's a little unconventional because we considered it before, and now we're coming back. You did have another offer that was more than that, but the board seemed to be very much interested in getting us to a first-time home buyer to make a run at it. Lynette and I, when we were at the Land Bank Conference, sat down sort of a back of the napkin exercise, and we realized, we could pull back and say no, and try to sell this for more. But once you start to look at these numbers, like, I think I'm comfortable recommending to you that we take a risk of getting this done and potentially not realize more by sitting on it and holding it. But at the same time, sitting on it and holding it also gives us risk and exposure. So if our goal is to put properties back into productive use, I would forego the potential, and I don't even know if that's, how real the potential is, for a little bit more revenue. I think we're talking, $10,000 or something, versus getting this back in.
What about the person that's applying and their ability to fix over the house?
So Lynette's been through there, so I'm going to throw Lynette in this a little bit, but I think that she has done a thorough job trying to get this lined up.
Yes, she does, and she also has, again, when we did the walkthrough and showing, she's had contractors going with her as well. inspectors, so she's really eager to complete the project.
Yeah.
And she was just, she reached out to us to help. to
Yeah,
see if there's any
exactly.
way that we could work with.
So this says that the buyer is pursuing HUD back financing, so I assume they're doing a 203K loan?
She's exploring both 203K and NACA as
Okay,
well.
okay.
Did anybody else bid on this property or seek it?
We did have one contractor who, I think their goal was to rehab it and resell it.
So and my reason for asking that question, because it's I know with, at least with HUD, I don't know if NECA does the same, you have to have qualified contractors, so it's not like, it's more likely that the work is gonna be done the right way.
Exactly.
So that gives me a little bit more.
And the same thing in the city of Albany. You've got to have a qualified contractor.
Yeah, NACA, if she can get through NACA, that would probably be better. Because those 203K loans have been difficult for us in the past. We've had buyers try to use 203Ks and it's almost too structured and too strict. And how, things move and how they get financed and how the contractors are paid and whatnot. So I'm hopeful that NACA comes through, because this 203K, I'd put it at a pretty decent chance of failure.
And someone's educating her on that? It's first time?
Yeah, she has, I think her sister or her aunt had also purchased a property through the land bank as well. So she's familiar with the process. But we've also, we've opened ourselves up to be that resource for her as well and to help guide.
That's great.
One of the advantages, we have asked Susan to take a role in helping us, pulling our permits. One of the advantages of that is she will understand this process. So when she talks to people, when she's dealing with enforcement, they're talking the same language, or if something is confusing to a buyer, she has been down that road and she'll understand it. So it's in a good place. And I'll say that, Lynette had, told me about, the inspections, and the inspector was very thorough, and I think based on what the inspector was looking for, I have a high degree of confidence that the bank is not going to just let this one escape by.
The only concern I have is committee members may also revisit concerns about setting precedent for post-approval price changes. Are we getting ourselves exposed to where some other bidder said, well, I would have paid $30,000 for it, and now you're selling it for 25?
We could revisit that. I think the discussions previously there was a great degree of interest in selling it to a first-time home buyer before we gave it to the developer.
So our fiduciary duties, we can consider factors other than just mere price, and that's what we're doing here.
That was I think that's the issue in hand here. And luck, that's good, because with the Albany High School auction, highest bidder, even if it's immoral and gonna rip the neighborhood off. But we can do this with a conscience, and, so, great. And that's our explanation.
Right.
Yeah, no, my concern during the committee meeting was more like, if we, not in this case, right, first time home buyer who didn't have contractors with her on the initial walkthrough, but, somebody a bit more professional, say landlord or flipper, somehow accidentally forgets to get their own scope on the first walkthrough and after the initial offer then comes back. Just preventing that, inoculating ourselves from that in the future. And then, we could always inoculate ourselves too by bringing back work scopes, right, that we had on many of our buildings. That
What?
work scopes, right?
Yeah.
Scopes of work that would tell buyers, here's what we think this will cost you roughly. Obviously consult with whoever you want to use, but obviously fully support this. This I think is a great
So we're not
outcome.
doing work scopes anymore?
We haven't, we have old ones. We're starting to revisit those, but we haven't
No,
budgeted.
if you got a new property and you're trying to market it, then wouldn't you have a work scope on it for people?
We haven't necessarily gotten a new property.
Right.
You
That
know,
was
No,
part of
but
this.
if we did,
Yes.
we
if
didn't
did.
change the policy, right? Because
No.
that's the whole point of it for first-time homebuyers. The investor doesn't care. They got their own ideas. But the work scope's important for primary residence person.
Yeah, it was more like, I think the one we had on this was like 4 or 5. It was pretty old, so it's pretty out of date at this point.
Sure.
Yeah, some of these, and we have some evaluations. I'm looking at the demolition list, which is really the engineering reports, but yeah, the work scope we haven't updated. Yeah, and they're out there. I mean, just even the ones that we have, I think we've started just removing reference to them because they don't fit the market anymore, with what's currently out there.
Okay. Okay. The opposition disposition?
I'm just, and I'll bring it up under the resolution. I realize that under the list of properties, I would put B 157 Homestead Avenue with the revised price.
So I just pulled out this thing, which is.
Oh, yeah, that's just the notes. That's just the matrix there.
Okay.
So tab 7 is your Enforcement and Compliance Committee.
Okay, 7, we're there, working our way through here.
Yep. So this is something that we'll ask after we just review this for a motion and a second and a vote, because there was not a quorum at the Enforcement and Compliance Committee who would normally take action to bind the land bank on these matters. But we have 54 North Swan Street. We had sold that. We had sold that previously, but as of August 25th, they had not made progress and weren't pulling anything left from their loan. Had some personal matters occur that's prevented them from moving this forward. They did identify another buyer to take this over. They would sell this to the new applicant who we have vetted out to get this project done. The only thing that they're getting is they're being made whole. There's not really any profitability in this. They're just trying to get out from under it. They're reselling it for $20,000. That'll pay off the home headquarters loan or anything that was done ahead of time, and just allows us to keep moving forward to a rehab. So the Enforcement and Compliance Committee did not have a quorum to take action on that. So I think as a action of the entire board, we would just do that here with a motion and a second and a vote.
Okay, but normally in committee, we just listen to staff recommendations and we pass it and we tell the board.
Yep,
So
correct.
this one time, we're gonna take a resolution with this, and not what we're gonna do. Correct. Okay. So I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
The same? Okay. Motion passed.
And again, we just do that because we couldn't do it in committee, so
That's right.
we'll have the whole board do it.
Okay. Okay, that's enforcement and compliance. New business, 543 Clinton Avenue, tab 8.
Tab 8, so 543 Clinton Avenue, been reviewed before by the Acquisition Disposition Committee. Again, this is one between meetings. We had the buyer fall out on the initial offer after she did some additional estimating. And at that time, the board said, we weren't going to necessarily go right to the second applicant as a backup, but instead, if the first applicant fell through, to go back to the second applicant, ask for a best and final offer. And so we did. Our applicant came back, went from a $2,500 offer up to $10,000. Again, this is a building that has a decent amount of damage in the front from a car that went through it, through the front after it was in private ownership. And so to get that resolved and just get that wood out from there, we don't have anything in our grant funding to line up to do this. It's going to be probably, it's could be 18 months to 2 years before we're ready to program this. And so I think that given that, again, it's like an exposure issue, we can find somebody else who's going to jump in. I think it's more important to our mission to keep these properties moving forward, get them rehabbed, back into housing, back into productive use, than to sit for another 2 years.
Where is 543 Clinton Avenue located? Is it between Lark and Northern Boulevard?
Lake.
No,
It's up by Lake.
Up by Lake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Lake and Quail,
Lake
Quail in
is-
Ontario?
Lake and Quail.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to, I can picture it, but I can't picture the cross streets.
Well, it's actually Lake and Robin, because it's before you cross Lake going up. So not a couple doors down from the maternity medical services place there.
So my recommendation would be to accept this offer and approve the second applicant as the as the approved buyer, and we would move ahead with that.
So normally we have a resolution for disposition.
Yep, I'm
Acquisition. You
just
want a
gonna-
resolution?
I'm just gonna ask that we also add that to resolution 28.
Okay, so that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we're done with 543 Clinton, and we're now in regular business, so we consider resolution number 28 for the sale of real property, tab 9. Do I have a motion? Second?
Mark.
Presentation? We just did it.
We just did it. We're gonna add, so we'll have those properties on Groton Street and Oliver Avenue to applicant 2161. We're going to reapprove 157 Homestead Ave to the original applicant at the $25,000, and 543 Clinton Avenue to the second applicant because the first applicant was unable to complete the deal for $10,000.
Okay. Everybody got that? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Resolution passed. B, resolution 29, authorizing payment of unpaid property taxes on 453 Elk Street, tab 10.
So we took, oh, you want a motion a second, then I'll,
Oh, yeah.
yep, sorry.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
presentation.
Making my notes here. 453 Elk Street was taken back in deed in lieu of foreclosure before I got here. We had nothing on our system indicating that there were taxes that were owed at the time of deed in lieu of foreclosure. There were in fact taxes that were due. When we sold that, and I don't know, what was told to the applicant, because folks that handle that aren't here. And I didn't get into this with the applicant, but our current practices is when we take property back in, we clear those back taxes that we're selling property free and clear. This is a property that was sold with $15,000 in back tax that we did not pay when we took it back. So we were holding property tax delinquent. We should have paid the bill, is my belief. So what I've asked here in a resolution is to authorize payment of those back taxes plus anything that we're responsible for because we didn't pay it. So any penalties and interest.
And then what happens to that property after we paid?
It's already been
It's
sold.
sold.
It's been sold. So
Right.
it will.
Did we get the money for it yet?
So,
Or it's pending?
Yeah, no, we've sold that property.
so when the buyer brought that property, did they sign something that said that they were not going to do a title search
They
and that they would be liable?
No,
for
they had the
anything?
option of doing the title search and they didn't. Again, I don't know if somebody had said to them that the land bank had it. There's no, we don't pay taxes. And so I could conceivably see that, but I just didn't go down that rabbit hole because I didn't know if it would really generate anything for us.
Well, let's see, if they'd done it, they found out it was 15,000, they'd walk away anyway.
Right,
Or
or
we
we
would
would have
have-
paid
or we
it,
would have
yeah.
At the end of the day, we would have paid.
Yeah,
We would have-
so-
I'm not saying that we shouldn't pay, I'm just wondering,
Yeah.
But at least we understand the process.
yes.
All, of course, is doing our business.
Yep.
What we do.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Resolution 30, transfer of real property on 54 North Swan.
That's the Enforcement and Compliance Committee. We already did that, so I'll just
Okay, we
update.
need to do that.
I'll update that, so you can go to tab 12.
Okay, so now we're doing resolution 31, authorizing amendment of the master MDA with acquisition disposition, tab 12. Do you want to tell us anything about
Want
that?
a motion in a second?
Motion?
Motion.
Second,
Okay. Anything?
Actually, Yep, hold up. Know right where you are on these sheets. This is our big omnibus resolution for changes to the South End project to allow us to keep moving forward.
Mhm.
Some of those changes are about our acquisition of the properties from Habitat in the city of Albany.
Mhm.
And we're going to be this intermediary step.
Mhm.
They're going to amend that, their agreement. We're going to be paid a little differently to, compensate us for our time and effort. And that's all very favorable, but it just allows us to keep this moving forward. There's a number of whereases, but this is prepared by the real estate team over at Whiteman.
Who? Okay.
Yeah, Dan Hubble and folks.
Yeah, good. Huh?
A lawyer.
Right, thank you. Right,
all
we
the
don't wanna do an
amendments.
MDA without the
Yeah.
fine print. Okay,
So the payment is gonna be in 3 installments, but the development is 2? I mean, yeah, payment 3, but the development is 2 phases?
Right, the development
Okay.
is 2 phases, yeah.
and we back-ended our fee, right? That's what really what happened. Instead of front-ended, they're backing, and then it puts, we're still getting it.
Yeah.
Unless they go bankrupt. Right. Okay. Anything else on that?
No, that's it. It's just, need a vote on that.
All those in favor of this resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, resolution passed.
All right.
Resolution 32, approving amendments to the bylaws. 13.
So we did our 10-day notice to the county legislature, the chair of the county legislature. I did have a conference call with Chairwoman Cunningham and a couple of her staff. No concerns, no questions, walked them through it. I provided them a red line copy as they requested. And last Monday, just, confirmed up with them that they had no concerns or questions. Said, no, it all looked good. They appreciated, our attention to keeping the process efficient and moving forward. I also asked for any feedback they might have about how things are going, and they said everything seems to be going well. They're quite pleased with how we're handling
These
this
amendments were
business.
done between staff and legal,
Yes.
right? So the
Yeah.
legal has reviewed all these changes. And so does this mean if we pass this next month, we'll see the real estate committee?
Well, you can pat this. So this is up for tonight.
Yeah, but I mean, so next month, we're
Next month
now
will
in a new
be-
structure.
right,
What will
next
be
month.
different next month when we,
Well, next month, the real estate committee will replace the acquisition, disposition, enforcement and compliance, and the real estate.
just a different heading, but the same material?
Yeah, we're gonna bring some of those pieces together so we can talk real estate more strategically.
Mhm.
The executive committee will meet to replace
Finance.
finance. Although finance, we still have to get finance together because we're in budget season. Because remember, the 3 committees that met very infrequently were finance, governance, and audit.
No, we met finance every month.
Well, yeah, you're right. Finance met every month, but audit and governance.
Right.
Finance, audit, and governance are required committees.
Yeah.
And so what we did is just really brought them back to their core functions
Mhm.
and getting them to meet at least once a year. So that
Yeah.
way, they're accomplishing their statutory
So
requirements.
those committees are just once a year?
They're just once a year. Yep.
So
So
what about the finance committee is now the executive committee?
when the finance committee is still the finance committee, but it's gonna handle the budget. And then if we get to that line of credit with the community loan fund, finance committee will be involved in
So does
that.
the executive committee have to meet now?
The executive committee will now meet monthly,
When? When?
in place of when the finance committee normally met. You'll be the executive committee is
Everybody on
gonna
the
be the
executive
first.
committee know that?
Yes,
Yeah.
now we do.
You're all meeting that time anyway,
Yes.
because you're all on finance, you're all on one of the other
Okay,
committees,
I want
so.
everybody to be clear here.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we'll give that revised time out.
No more, no extra
And so
meeting.
the real estate committee will replace the A&D committee?
Replace A&D, enforcement and compliance, and the other real estate.
But I'm speaking in terms of the time, like, how executive is replacing the
that's
Yeah,
finance.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll tweak that because we're gonna give a little bit more time for the committees
Okay.
because we're gonna put a little bit more into them.
Okay.
Yeah, so right now we've scheduled a half hour. I'm gonna try and see how 45 minutes works.
So instead of just leaving, 2
Yes,
minutes to
and please
go,
don't,
hang up.
yes,
and all that
because
stuff.
I forget
It's hard
to
for
log
you.
back in.
It's hard for you.
Yes.
Right, yeah, yeah. So we're just gonna open the lines up once and talk about 3 things before we close down.
Yeah, most months it's going to be the executive committee and the real estate committee meeting.
Okay,
And then as we need to pop in for those other the statutory
Okay.
pieces, they'll pop in and out.
That
But for the
works.
most part, there's gonna be 2 committees that meet and we're gonna streamline all
that
of
works.
Okay. Nothing like happy board members.
So I just had a motion and a second.
Okay, all those in
Motion.
favor? Oh, motion?
Motion.
Mark, second?
Second.
Thank you, Nita. All those in favor of this resolution, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Resolution accepted. Yeah, the last effing thing on the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, F is a late starter, so F is a late starter as of today, and I'm just asking that we consider this, but if you need more time, I fully understand. But if you remember when Mr. LaCivita was on the board and he was a general manager in Waterville, there are 2 properties that the city was interested in. We have not closed on those. And so they had a developer that they wanted to assign a contract to. We talked with them about our concerns about involving a developer. You know, they did vet them out. So they instead asked, I think this is a reasonable solution, is that the City of Water, that they want to assign the contract to the City of Waterville Local Development Corporation, which is a public benefit corporation created by the city. And so,
That's good for us.
yeah, so this resolution, if you'll consider it tonight, even though it's a late starter, allows me to sign the paperwork to assign that contract and move this forward to closing.
Okay,
So the properties are our properties?
They're currently our properties, yeah.
Okay.
So where we would have sold them to the City of Waterville, and we wouldn't have had an enforcement mortgage with the municipality. But if we sold them to a developer, we would, because there's just a different relationship there. In this case, we're considering the assignment of the purchase to the local development corporation, and then the LDC in Waterville can work on the redevelopment of these properties.
what about the enforcement mortgage?
We won't have one with them.
Well, we
because
don't care because LDC owns it.
Right, because it's gonna be with this, it's gonna be with the city's.
If it crash and
local
burns, it
development.
goes to
Right,
them,
to them
not to
city,
us.
yeah.
Haven't we had this property for a while?
I believe so. I have to go back
Yeah.
and look at the date. It was actually it was on our list. Foreclosed, well, Fifth Avenue was foreclosed in December of 2014, so I don't know when it came over to us. But some of these, yeah, they've been lingering, so I think it's time.
Yeah, because I knew somebody who purchased property, and I tried to get them interested in the property, and when they looked at it, it was too much work that had to be,
Hmm.
I think there are 2 families, and it was too much that had to be rehabbed.
So I've seen a motion and a second on that if we want to proceed.
Okay, motion,
Motion.
second,
Second?
all those in favor?
I,
Opposed, abstained, resolution passed.
I don't have any old business for you. Upcoming meetings, we're back, committees on October 15th with the new format, because we have new bylaws now, and the board will meet October 21st.
What about our LLC with the hazardous buildings that we used to bank?
Third Tuesday?
Third Tuesday for the board, yes, we're still the third Tuesday, and the committees are the Wednesday before.
Do we have anything in the LLC currently
I
that's
don't think-
hazardous?
I don't think we have anything in the LLC. If we do, we have one building, but I think the last thing in the LLC was 260 Bradford. And that's out. And if you haven't taken a drive by, Pat Chu has been working away on those buildings, because the pavement's opened up,
Oh,
so.
that's great. Yeah. Okay, anybody further questions? Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Don't forget the free pizza and the wings and then the other stuff out back there.
Fantastic host.
I already had to.
All right.
Nanny's got her plate.